Johnson.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing this evening? My name is Raynard Johnson. I am one of your native sons. I was born and raised in Southwest Atlanta. I am a graduate of Atlanta Public High Schools. I attended Beecher Hills Elementary School. Let me give a shout out to Miss Stevens if she's still here. She was one of my teachers at Southwest High School. I just ran into her. This was the value system in which I was raised on, and this is the value system that we must bring back to Atlanta Public Schools. I was a product of Atlanta Public Schools when it was a working entity in our community. That value system needs to be brought back here. After I left Southwest Atlanta High School, I attended Boston College for 4 years. My major was computer science. I understand IT because I've been in IT 35 years. We need to make sure that we have someone on the board who understands information technology. If you care about smaller classroom sizes, if you care about the fact that our children are coming to school hungry without access to nutritional foods, if you care about the fact that we are the 4th largest city in human sex trafficking, if you care about the fact that we have vocational programs and we need to create job opportunities by extending those tax credits that's currently available to the city of Atlanta, then you should vote for me. Because the status quo, the things that's been going on must change. If we have the highest administrative costs than any district in the state of Georgia, and Gwinnett County has 3 times the amount of students we have, we are top heavy. We need to do something about that in the budget process, but first, it takes us to look at this charter we're currently under. Right now, the CFO does not have dual reporting responsibility. Like Ms. Meister was just speaking about, this budget process this past year was a farce. It was a joke. The superintendent ran the clock out on them. That can no longer happen in the future. If the CFO has dual reporting responsibility, and you ask the CFO for the more administrative cuts, and that person comes back with nothing, get rid of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Charles Johnson, you have 2 minutes for an opening statement.
Charles Lawrence.
Excuse me, Charles. My apologies.
Good evening. My name is Charles Lawrence, and I'm a candidate for District 5 School Board, and I come to you as a parent since 1994. I have 3 kids, 2 that have graduated from the Atlanta Public Schools, 1 in May, just this past May 2013, and I have an 8th grader at Young Middle School. So I'm a little bit different. I'm coming from the standpoint of actually having been a parent, attended PTA meetings, met with teachers, spoke in the schools for Parent Motivation Day. And so I'm running because I think we need a new energy, something different. We need not a lot of speaking, but a lot of action. And so I'm coming from the standpoint that, we have parents that through some of the challenges that we have encountered over the last few years, that they want to know where we're going for the next years to come. And so we need to have a different approach. We have kids now that are getting ready for the 21st century, 21st global century. And now this is a situation where we're teaching kids that they have to be lifelong learners, because that's what we're finding out as adults. And so I want to get into this race to get the excitement of the people, the voters, the parents, because it's going to be critical. One of the first things we're going to do is we're going to find a superintendent, and that's going to be critical that we get a superintendent that's going to be open, somebody's going to be approachable, and because we have a lot of issues that we need to address. Now, a little bit about myself. I've been a real estate broker in the area, Atlanta metro area for 25 years. I've been married for 25 years. I'm a graduate of Howard University and also a graduate of Atlanta Public School System, Southwest High School, and my teacher, Ms. Stevens, is also out there also.
Thank you very much. The first question will go to Mr. Johnson. What qualities, experience, or position on specific issues are you looking for in a new superintendent? Sure. What qualities, experience, or position on specific issues are you looking for in a new superintendent?
Thank you very much for that question. What qualities I'm looking for is this. We need a transformational new superintendent. We need someone who has had a track record through urban schools. Let's admit it, this is an urban school district, who has experience in transforming that school district. Right now, we're only graduating 51% of our students. Therefore, we need someone who will not let 49% of our students fail. If Delta Airlines was crashing all those planes with those little people on it, we would be shouting to the heavens. I think we need someone who knows that we cannot have that happen, period. Because we're failing these children. The qualities I'm looking for is this: someone who's a community advocate, someone who understands the budget process, someone who will not take no for an answer, and someone who will not let these children fail.
Mr. Lawrence, the same question to you.
Yeah, I think we need to have the biggest thing from the parent standpoint and from my standpoint is that we need to have a superintendent that we feel like that we can, with this open, that we feel like that we can communicate with and be open. I think in the past, from a parent standpoint, that we felt like that, everything seemed to be somewhat secret. It wasn't inviting for us to call into the office downtown. So that's what we want. The main thing that we want, somebody's going to be open, somebody's going to be a leader. Somebody mentioned that earlier. They're going to be a leader, and they're going to be involved in all aspects of what goes on in the Atlanta public school system. From special education, I think that's one of the areas that the graduation rate is less than 15%, that no one seems to speak of, much less our overall graduation rate that we have. From that, all the way to the oversight and to the athletic department.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lee, same question to you, sir.
A school superintendent is an employee of the Atlanta School Board. The school superintendent implements policies set forth by the school board. We need a superintendent that will take the policies that this school board implements, those policies, and report back to that board with finality and with results. The biggest problem that I see with the superintendent is that superintendent has been operating over here all by himself and is not held accountable for what's not going on in the schools. And we're facing one of the largest cheating scandals. But the cheating scandal wasn't for our children. Those were adults. We need to make sure that we hire a superintendent that is on the ground, that knows exactly what's going on, that can ride the school bus, and that can sit down with children and let children know that he is there for them, because that's his ultimate responsibility.
Thank you very much. The next question, the first to respond will be Mr. Lawrence, and the question is, what's your position on maximum class sizes, and would you reallocate resources to address the issue if you believe it's a problem?
Well, I think that certainly that we all have heard that smaller classes, you can be more effective with smaller classes. And, as a parent, where my kids have gone to school, we've always dealt with these large classes. But what we've been told is that, we have to work with what we have. And I know that being on that board, you're going to find out that there's other information that prevents you from having the ideal class sizes that you would like to have. So as a potential board member, then I have to say that an issue like this, I would want to have more information to have an exact position on this particular issue. There's going to be a lot of issues as such that I'm going to be learning more from the standpoint of the whole Atlanta public school system.
Thank you. Mr. Lee, same question.
far too big. I believe that the state and the federal government issues maximum class sizes for a reason. If we have the class sizes that we're having now, and we have 50%, 51% graduation rate, there's a problem. So yes, I believe it's a problem. And how would I fix that problem? Right now, we pay administrators twice the amount of almost every other school district in the Southeast. If we pay the administrators, and this is not even including principals and assistant principals, but if we pay administrators the national average, we can hire 300 teachers, according to this budget. We can hire 300 teachers at $80,000 a year. Now, we can reduce some class sizes with that, and that won't even address the issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Johnson, same question.
Thank you very much for that question, and I love that question. Smaller classroom sizes, yes, we need smaller classroom sizes. The state limit, we're over that and get a waiver every year. 35, 33 students is too much. Right now, we have the highest administrative central office costs than any district in the state of Georgia. Gwinnett County has 3 times the amount of students we have, but half the administrative costs. If we were to cut our administrative costs just to the state average for 45,000 students, yes, we can hire 300 teachers at $80,000, including benefits, or we could hire 150 teachers and give the other teachers we currently have a pay raise. Because right now, they deserve a pay raise. I think now is the time, this is the right time for real change. You want real change? This is the right time for it.
Thank you very much. The next question will start with Mr. Lee, and following up what Mr. Johnson said, teacher compensation has been frozen for a number of years. What's your position regarding the current level of teacher compensation, and would you want to make any changes?
If you expect children to be doctors, you need teachers. If you expect children to grow up to be lawyers, you need teachers. If we want the best for our children, then we need to hire and maintain the best teachers. Any teacher that is standing before a classroom of kids, this is not just a job. Let me just please understand, because they don't get paid anywhere near what they're worth. They take this job home and they live it. So I say, yes, we need to make sure that all teachers are compensated to the level to where we can make sure our children have the best possible education, and that starts with making sure that we have a world-class workforce and they're compensated as such.
Thank you very much. Mr. Johnson?
I think that, well, I know for a fact teachers are not paid enough, but let's deal with the reason why they're not being paid now. This budget process must change. Right now, the CFO does not have dual reporting responsibility. The CFO does need to have dual reporting responsibility to the board as well as to the superintendent. That way we have accountability. It's my opinion that once we get our budget in the line where it needs to be, because right now it's not in line, then we'd be in a better position to pay our teachers more, even to pay everybody who works for the school system more. But right now we are top heavy. We top heavy with administrators. It's been that way since I've been in school. Nobody's been willing to bite that silver bullet. Let's take a stand. Let's do the right thing, because it's for the children. It's not for us. It's for the children. That's what matters.
Mr. Lawrence, same question.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement with the teachers need to be paid. And Mr. Johnson said it's been that way since he was in school. But one thing I want that it was pointed out about, I guess about 2007, that the high school office had a budget of about $200,000. And that may not be exactly right. I think it was whoever headed the office and then the secretary. And then that went up to, about 5 years later to about $5 million. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about during the course of this campaign is those kind of monies being spent downtown, and how the teachers, because we all know the teachers need to be paid. I think I talked to one teacher that said that they hadn't got a raise in 5 years. So we know how important the teachers are, and it's just a matter of getting the people up there that is sensitive to what we need to do to compensate our teachers.
Thank you very much. The final question, we'll start with you, Mr. Johnson. What are the most significant issues affecting the schools in your district, and what would you do to address them?
Right now in my district, which goes from DeForest Ferry Road all the way down to Cascade, all the way west to Fulton Industrial, we have a dynamic area with many different socioeconomic problems. Some of the issues that we're dealing with now is in terms of parental accountability. Parents need to be held accountable for the actions of their children. They need to be involved. But at the same time, it's not just that K through 12 model. It's that birth to K model. We need to have more children in our pre-K program so they have a better chance of learning and succeeding. We have another problem, the fact that not every child is going to go to college. So we must have vocational programs in place, but not just vocational programs. Let's create job opportunities for these kids. If we were to create a job opportunity for these kids, they would have a light at the end of the tunnel. Another problem in my community is this: human sex trafficking. It is a problem. It is running rampant in our communities. It goes just from human sex trafficking to prostitution. And if we could have teen pregnancy prevention in schools, gang violence prevention, let's start talking about a real tabletop issue, human sex trafficking.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lawrence, the same question to you.
Could you repeat that question?
Sure. What are the most significant issues affecting the schools in your district, and what would you do to address them?
Well, that's one of the reasons that you run for the board, because one of the things that from my standpoint, from the parent standpoint, that you see right away, it seems to be a difference in the equity. I think that's the term that we use in terms of resources in one area versus another. And one of the things is that, we seem to, things like AP courses and these different resources that in other parts of the city that we may not see. So I think we need to see a real emphasis on having equity, monies to spend in our school district. And, we, even with the schools themselves that are being built, we see certain money spent, and we don't quite understand it from our standpoint. So that's one of the reasons that we want to go and we want to find out what's the problem and how this money is spent. So that's one of the main things is equity.
Thank you very much. We'll now turn to the closing statements. You'll each have a 2-minute opportunity, and the first up will be Mr. Lawrence. You'll have the first opportunity. Oh, my apologies. Please do.
I really wanted to answer that question. The biggest areas of concern that we have in my district, in the area where I live, and there are 3, and that's high school dropout rate, which is critical. The high school dropout rate is one that, and we've always talked about the numbers. There's a 51% graduation rate. But in my district, in my area, we're talking a much larger number. We have to make sure that we give these kids a reason to stay in school. It's no longer the parents saying, the kids come to school and say, well, I better go to school because parents, my mom, my dad is going to break my neck if I don't go to school. We have to make sure we give them incentives to go to school, to learn, to prepare themselves for the future. College, vocationally, either way, either track, we have to prepare them. It makes no sense for them to graduate and go off to college and have to take remedial classes for the first year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You'd think with my background as a CPA, I would count to 3. We will now turn to the closing statements, and Mr. Lawrence, you're on first. You have 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to first thank all of the participants here for putting this on. This is a definitely a new process for me. I thought about running for a couple of months and decided to make that decision a week ago, and here I am today. So it's a lot happening and a lot to catch up with, but I just wanted to say that as a parent, that a lot of us have real concerns about our kids, and there's no question about our kids, and so that's one of the motivations of getting in this race. And so when we talk about the school system, and I've been in real estate for 25 years, and things that I've been doing, I've been connected to the school system as well, and when you're a parent, it just hurts your heart to see some of the things that you see over a period of time. And this is what motivated me to get into the race. And so I just want to leave you with the fact that we all of us want to encourage even more people outside of this room to get involved in the process, because when January comes, whoever the people vote, that's who we're going to have to go with for 4 years. And so this is a very critical event, and it's critical for me as a parent, and that's one of the reasons I'm in the race, because I want to give all of the people of the district a choice, and at least wherever they vote, then we will go with that. But this is real critical, and I just want to emphasize to everybody that all of us need to go out and really get people excited about what's going to happen here, because I think this is a turning point for us going forward in this global society that our kids desperately need to grab a hold to. And choosing this superintendent is going to be a very, very important step for us. Thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, your closing statement.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming out this evening. First of all, I will say that I am one of your native sons, born and raised here in Atlanta, Georgia, raised in Southwest Atlanta. I am a member of the PTA of all 20 schools in my district. So therefore, I am engaged with my community. I've been hearing about all the problems, but I have some solutions now. I think the time of us just playing footsie with education needs to come to an end. We need to be more engaged in this budget process. We need to have parents be engaged. We need to have transparency and accountability. Yes, we need equity throughout the district in terms of educational resources, but at the same time, the status quo can no longer work. If Delta Airlines was crashing 49% of their planes, we would be singing to the heavens as to why all these planes crashing. Every child that does not graduate is a plane that's crashing. We need to understand that these children need our help. Parents need our help, and the community at large. I know myself, if I don't eat a meal, I cannot concentrate. These kids come to school hungry, and that is unacceptable. We need to find a way to make sure that we extend our help to these families, but at the same time, this foolishness of coming to school every day, cutting up and acting a fool, that needs to stop. Period. Parents need to be engaged. Not only that, but in terms of my upbringing, I know if I'm able to go to Boston College from Southwest High School, every child deserves that same opportunity. It's not about the children. It is about the children. It's not about politics, prestige, or power. It's about opportunities they deserve now. And it's not about saying every child can learn. It is showing that every child can learn.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lee, your closing statement.
Let me say thank you very much for moderator, Mr. Blackwell, for moderating, for NAPS, for hosting this wonderful forum. Why am I running for the school board? Because for 15 years, I've served the community. I ran a nonprofit organization that focused on providing programs and services for at-risk youth. I've seen those 49% of those planes, Mr. Johnson, crashing at my doorstep every day. Now I can sit here and tell you my extensive community background. I've served on this board, I've served on that board, I did this and I did that, but that doesn't matter. What matters is I have a desire and a passion to make sure every one of Atlanta's children get a quality education. I'll tell you a story and I'll have my seat. 3 years ago, I met a young man. He was 17. He had dropped out of school at 9th grade. He was with my son. My son was preparing to graduate. I told that young man, you can't hang out with my son every day because if you're not in school, you're going to encourage him and give him bad habits. Now, if you want me to help you, I'll be more than happy to help you. The next day, that young man was at my door, at my office, ready to get an education. I walked him through the process. In 6 months, he received his GED. He took his SAT and he made a 1300 on his SAT. That young man is now a sophomore at Arkansas Baptist College with a 3.6 GPA. Every child deserves that opportunity. And we as parents, adults, need to make sure that happens. Thank you. God bless you.